From an 11-year-old girl shot in the back while sitting in a relative's car on the far south side, to a woman caught in between an exchange of gunfire while crossing the street at Wells and Ontario in River North, it was yet another violent weekend in Chicago with more than 55 people injured and 5 murdered since 6 p.m. Friday. One Chicago shooting attracting national attention occurred at about 4 a.m. Sunday when at least 8 people were wounded around after someone fired into a crowd at a party in the 8900 block of South Cottage Grove Avenue in Burnside. 6 men and 2 women were among the injured, with more than half in serious to critical condition. There were a lot of people and a lot of shooting, so they did not know where to run or where to hide, said Pastor Donovan Price. Price said he was listening to calls over the police scanner and went to the scene. There were people coming up that were shot in the leg, and this and that, Price said. Some people even shot and walking around. It is so chaotic. Everyone is looking for people. What hospital did they go to? He and other Chicago pastors united on the city's south side Monday evening, heartbroken over the violence from this past weekend. I say to Chicago, whatever it is you do. If you pray, then pray, Price said. But somebody, for God's sake, do something. Superintendent Brown gives update on Chicago shootings after a grim weekend. Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown sought to provide context for the number of shootings taking place in Chicago by insisting things are getting better, despite what he calls fits and starts. Revenge, retaliation, will never be enough to satisfy you, Brown said. It can only destroy more lives. Fortunately, the 11-year-old girl is now out of the hospital. Her mother said she was in town from Iowa visiting cousins for the weekend getting her hair done. The girl was meant to have returned home Monday. The shooting took place just steps from the Kids Off the Block Memorial in West Pullman, where more than 600 stones each represent a child killed by gun violence in the city. Come walk these streets. These streets are not gray. They're bloody streets. Bloody streets, and we're tired of it, crisis responder Andrew Holmes said. At a news conference Monday morning, Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown said the department is working to recover guns to prevent violence, but that there needs to be consequences in the court system for illegal gun possession. The courts render a verdict, they set a bond and a bail, so illegal gun possession drives violence. Every gun recovered is a chance not to have that gun used in a violent incident. But also, the consequence in the courts is the other part of the formula that we want to see more of, Brown said. Brown blamed most of this weekend's violence on the city's gangs. This idea of an eye for an eye leaves us both blind, he said. The city's top cop sought to paint an improving picture of the violence, revealing that while murders are up 5%, and shootings are up 17% so far this year, they are now starting to trend downward. With fits and starts obviously. Up and down. Up and down. Our challenge is we need to trail off in the summer, Brown said. The challenge is a significant one. Brown said that while Chicago's police department is the second largest in the country, CPD has fewer new officers than usual as COVID restrictions reduced class sizes in the police academy. More than 30 of the weekend's 58 shooting victims were attacked in police districts that have been leading the city in homicides: Austin, Englewood, Harrison, Ogden, Calumet and Gresham. In all, it was the most shootings for a weekend this year, though others have been deadlier. 5 people died, compared to 12 over a weekend toward the end of May. In between the two weekends was a relatively calm Memorial Day weekend, when 3 people were killed and 34 were wounded. The Chicago Police Department had canceled days off and put officers on 12-hour shifts,